2, 3, 4. Well, I don't know why I came here tonight. Got the feeling that this just ain't right. Crowd of people standing right over there, and I'm sitting too close to your chair. Germs to the left of me, germs to the right. Here I am stuck in the middle with you. Yes, I'm stuck in the middle with you, and I'm not sure what it is I should do. Well, my mask is falling right off my face, and there's just too many folks in this place. Germs to the left of me, germs to the right. Here I am stuck in the middle with you. Oh, well, we all been stuck at home, so meeting up seemed like a solid plan. But we didn't think it through. Now people pouring through the door said, man. Well, we're trying to make some sense of it all, but to us it makes no sense at all. And do we come or do we lock up at home? And tell me just how far can we roam? Germs to the left of me, germs to the right. Here I am stuck in the middle with you. Yes, I'm stuck in the middle with you. Yes, I'm stuck in the middle with you. Hey everyone, it's Pat, Wonder Boys and Girls Club. You knew me from my KIS days at Mr. Kent, teaching all the algebra over there. So, Boys and Girls Club, making these videos to welcome you in. Hope you enjoy this stuff. We're going to continue on graphing today. We're going to do our math lesson now. That was a Steelers Wheel remix of Stuck in the Middle with You. It's one of Mr. Tom's favorite songs. Just thought I'd give it a shot with some lyrics for today as we start getting back into what hopefully will be an approach to a more normal type of things we're used to, where we can see our friends, shake their hands maybe, or at least see them even if we still keep our social distance. Have to be smart about everything, wearing masks out in public, washing our hands frequently, all that kind of stuff, and keeping our distance as best we can. Be nice to do a fist bump every now and then though. Okay, so I'm going to spin this. We're going to talk about continuing on with our linear graphing, our straight line graphing. I'm going to show the board here. So yesterday we learned actually 3 ways to do this. Excuse me, I take that back. We learned 2 of those ways yesterday. We're going to learn the 3rd way today. So one thing we learned was we learned a T-chart. That's where you create your X and Y values, and you got to make 3 of them. So you pick a value for X, you plug it into the equation and see what Y comes out. That was a very standard, normal way of graphing. If you're not sure, go back to yesterday's lesson and look. And then we graphed using the X and the Y intercepts. So for example, if we had 3x minus whatever, say 6y equals 24, what we learned was at every y-intercept, the x value is 0. So we'd put a 0 in here and solve this. We get negative 6y is 24. So our y-intercept is negative 4. So on the y-axis, you'd put a dot at negative 4. And we also learned that at every x-intercept, the y value is 0. So we do the same thing, only this time we'd put a 0 where the y is. And we'd end up with 3x equals 24. Solve that, and this time the x-intercept is positive 8. So on the x-axis, you'd make a dot at positive 8. On the y-axis, you'd make a dot at negative 4, and that's what you do. That's a great way to graph. Sometimes it's harder to do than others. When it's set up right, it's gravy. Great way to remember. It's not done enough. A lot of students forget. So refresh your memory looking back at those if you need to. When you're back in the club, you can ask me. We might start running some virtual algebra lessons formally with Zoom and stuff in about a month, so we'll let you know about that. Okay, today we're doing something called graphing using the slope and y-intercept. Okay, slope-intercept method. In this particular case, the y-intercept is the one we're using. And if you're in 8th grade, you've guaranteed seen that. If you're not, you may not have seen it. So this is the one where the y equals mx plus b. It's a fantastic way to graph things. So what we need to talk about is we need to talk about what this is, first of all. Okay. So I'm going to pull a different color here for a second. So slope of a line it's how steep a line is and which direction it points. So there's a very steep slope in a positive direction. Here's a very gradual slope in a negative direction. And you measure how far over and how far up or down you get. Okay. On a straight line, it's a constant rate of change. So it's how the line changes. So even if you've heard and seen all this, this is worth paying attention to. A slope on a linear function is the same anywhere on the line. Constant rate of change, steady. So what it is it's the change in y over the change in x. This is actually what you're doing. It's saying how much up or down does it go as you move along the line. And your teachers wrote that with this delta y, delta x. We use this because it's a shorthand version of this. These two mean the same thing, but if you look at that, you don't know what the heck we're talking about. Keep in mind, this stands for the change in. Okay, this is just an easier way to write it. And this keeps track and lets your brain focus that it's the y on top of the fraction. Okay. Other things you've seen are rise over run. The word rise, it could be a settling, not a rising up, but a rising down, if you will. So it's just to remind you, it's the y on top. X is how far it runs, right or left. So that goes on the bottom. And the last thing you see is there's a way to compute it. You need 2 points, and you can find the slope using this. So all that's a very involved lesson you have in 8th grade. We're going to do some of this, like I say, when the Boys and Girls Club presents, I'll be more detailed with this. What we're going to do today is use all this to actually create graphs. That's going to be our focus. So if you need help with this other stuff, you're going to have to Google it. Wait till we go back and we can help you with it. So the key is you're using the slope on a graph presentation to enable you to graph some pretty hard equations if you did not know how to do this. Okay, we're not going to actually find slopes off of points and whatnot. Okay, I'm going to erase this so we can have a few examples. I'm going to erase this. And I'm going to write something very important right up here. Y equals mx plus b. This is what you're after. You have to get y by itself. M is the slope. The b value is the yint, the y-intercept. Okay? So we're after the slope and the y-intercept. So one key is you notice y is all by itself. Okay, so we're going to use that to graph some things. So one thing I know for sure, there's nothing like examples to show you. Okay, so let's get you started. So we're going to graph, let's graph 3 equations. So example 1, we'll make it easy. So let's say it said y equals, and you had, let's say 2/3 x, okay, minus 5. So the first thing you would notice is we're in the form we want already. That's a great thing. When you got y all by itself, you're ready to go. Now what you should be doing on these cases is you should always list your parts. So I got it set up. The m is the number multiplying times x. So my slope is 2/3. The b is what's being added. In this case, that's minus 5. So the y-intercept is -5. You should write that down. Okay, now we're going to use those 2 things to graph, and that's all we need. So you always start right here. Start with the y-intercept. So it's where y-intercept means where it crosses the y-axis. So you find -5 on the y-axis. Be careful, some students go on the x-axis, then they get the graph wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that right there is this. Okay, now from here, our slope is 2/3. Now in my classroom, I tell the students if they want to avoid mistakes to write this. Some listen, some don't. This reminds students of what's up. So first of all, it's a positive slope, so you know it's going to go over and up. So I use this, and I always do the bottom part first. So you don't start at the origin. Make sure you hear what I'm saying right now. You do not do the slope from the middle here, the way you would if you were plotting points. You do it from the y-intercept. So you start by plotting the y-intercept. Then from this point, you go 3 steps to the right and 2 steps, since it's positive, up. So I go 1, 2, 3, 3 right, and 2 up, and that's where I make my next dot. And that's actually all you need. You can connect those 2. What a lot of students do is they want more points, so they'll do it again. So 1, 2, 3, and then up 2 more again. Okay. Again, it's a lot easier with graph paper than it is trying to do what I'm doing. Then you connect this stuff. Nice long line. Oh, a little bit sloppy there. I'll live with it. And that's your graph. Okay? And you can tell people what you just graphed. I just graphed y equals 2 thirds x minus 5. Minus 5, 3 over 2 up, 3 over 2 up, 3 over 2 up. On graph paper, it's very easy to plot completely accurately. Okay? So I want to show one that's not quite as easy. So that's as easy as it gets because I'm going to go back to the way this started. It was already in proper form. Next one won't be. You ready? Okay. Here my wife and my puppies. Okay, we'll live with all that stuff. Right, time for example 2 right here. Okay, here we go. Let's make it not too hard. 2y, right? Okay, equals x plus 8. So we're going to go baby steps. We'll do one more past this. This one's not ready to use because I just want y. We got 2y. So what you're going to do is you're going to divide. So you're basically, I'm going to show it two ways. You're dividing this side and this whole side here. When I do it myself, what I like to do is tell the kids, just remember, and I tell myself, divide everything. So I divide this term by 2, this term by 2, and this term by 2. Common mistake is forgetting that last one. So you do this because these cancel. Those are 1s. Now some students get mixed up right here. Don't forget, every variable that does not have a number in front of it actually does. It's got a 1 right there. So x means 1x. So this is 1 divided by 2, which is 1/2. So 1/2 x, and then 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay, so now I'm ready. Now, sorry, pin's not cooperating. So now this is set up in that form. So my slope is 1/2. My y-intercept is 4. You can write y-int if you don't like b. So this one's different. Same but different. Remember, you always start at the y-intercept. This time it's positive on the y-axis. So I come here and I find positive 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. My slope of 1/2. Change in y, change in x. X is the bottom number, y is the top. Again, that's a positive slope. Okay, so this time, not from the origin, from that point, I'm going 2 over and only 1 up. So I go 2 to the right and 1 up. 2 to the right and 1 up. That's where my dots go. Okay. There's my line. And I tell them what I graphed. I graphed 2y equals x plus 8. Okay. So the key is getting y by itself first. Sometimes that's easy, sometimes it's not. All right. Hope you're doing okay. You guys have the luxury of stopping this, looking at it later if you're doing the math. Hopefully you are. You're not just listening to the entertainment or checking in because someone told you to. You're actually learning stuff. Again, I think the club's going to do some nice Zoom things where you can connect with us too. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put example 3. Okay, this is the last one we're going to do. Let's see. Make this one a little harder here. What do you think? Okay. So we'll get 5x plus 3y equals 18. I mean, I want you to picture trying to do a t-chart or even the x and y intercepts. That'd be tough. One would give you fractions. You wouldn't know what to do with it. So you got to work this bugger. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is, I want y by itself. So you have to get rid of this thing. So if x is on the same side as y, get rid of it. So that's a positive 5x, so I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. Okay, that cancels, that's a good thing. 3y equals, notice how I'm writing this. Okay, so I pull my 5x. These are not like terms. You can't make it 13x or 23x or anything like that. That's got x, that doesn't. Okay, so my next step is to divide by 3. Remember the rule, you divide everything. So what I end up with is y equals negative 5/3 x, not plus 18, plus 6. So now I got it in the form I want. M is negative 5/3. B is 6. So this is a challenging one, but this shows you the beauty of this graph way. You can handle this one. A t-chart would be nasty. The x and y intercepts would be tough. This is a great way to do it. So we start at the y-intercept, positive 6. So I'm going to make that up here. That's where you make a great big red thing. That's the one we're doing here, positive 6. Your slope is negative 5/3. Now this you got to really pay attention to. Hopefully by now you know when you get a negative slope it should be pointing down. So what we do is we still go, this is the best way to do it in my brain. We go 3 to the right, still go the bottom number right. Just do that every single problem. If it's positive, you go right and up. If it's negative, right and down. That keeps it simple. So I'm going to go 3 steps to the right. And then I got to count 5 down. Okay, so 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's where my dot will go. Those things are far enough apart, I only need those 2. You could do another one if you want. 3 to the right, 5 down. On graph paper, the graphing part of it's simple. You're just counting boxes. I'm kind of estimating a little bit there. So we had to get y by itself. We had to keep track of our negative signs. On the slope, we had to remember it's always the bottom number go right and the top number positive go up, top number negative go down. Come on, baby, right here. Thing is wavering. I'd yell at a student turned in something like that. Having a hard time keeping this locked here. It's not working for me. Okay, a little bit better presentation. Long lines, arrows at the end. Finish it off. Tell them what you did. So you graphed 5x plus 2y equals 18. So there you go. That's 3 solid examples. So the idea when you learn math, whether in my class or anybody else's, whatever grade level you're in, doesn't matter. Whatever you are doing, you're trying to build a math tool belt. So don't buy into that. Mr. K wants us to do it a certain way. So you're graphing linear equations. You can use a t-chart. You can use x and y intercepts, or you can use the slope intercept. If you learn them all, you get to choose which one seems easiest to you, which one seems best for that problem. That way you're in charge. So you're learning all these tools each year, and you're keeping them and practicing them. And then as you get into the higher level math and college and whatnot, you get to pick. You know, as you're going through high school, everything you learn in 7th and 8th grade and 5th and 6th grade and 3rd and 4th, all those, everything you apply and you use the way that works it best for you. Okay? All right, that is our lesson. Hope you enjoy that sucker. I think I'll go ahead and end it right there. So I want to thank you again. Okay, again, this is Mr. Pat from Kailua Boys and Girls Club. Please take care of yourself. Earlier I said shake hands with friends. Probably not a good idea to do that yet. Give them shaka, air shaka. Keep your distance. You know, we're going to be seeing each other soon. But if we rush it, it's going to get messed up again. So we want to take our time, follow the rules, take care of each other. Remember, when I go out, I wear a mask every day. Everywhere I go, if I go anywhere. Walking my dogs is really all I do, but I always wear a mask, and it's not for me. I wear that mask to protect you folks. So remember, you're wearing a mask to protect others. Even if you're young and you feel strong, you're helping other people not get any germs you might have. So thank you for doing that if that's what you're doing. We need everybody to help each other out here. That's why Hawaii is doing so well in this. Okay, keep it up. Remember, live your life with aloha, and we'll be seeing you really soon. Make another lesson coming up, and keep playing my kind of whack music. I hope you're enjoying that too. Aloha.